Robert Plank Show, episode 76, Gamification. Make your membership sites sticky using WP Notepad and WP Kunaki. How's it going? I hope great. I hope wonderful and awesome for you. This is Robert Plank, the #1 internet marketer from Turtle Rock, California. I want to personally welcome you back to the Robert Plank Show. This is the Internet Marketing Radio podcast where we talk about making money from your membership sites. And we're going to talk today about this thing called gamification, which turns your membership site into a game, makes it fun for people to use it. So think about this. If you had some boring little course with 150 videos and a bunch of little, transcripts, doesn't that sound like work? If someone is looking to buy a course from you about real estate or about losing weight, and they have to watch a bunch of little videos and have to read a bunch of stuff, that doesn't sound like fun, right? But if you had something in your membership site where there was a checklist for them to check off, and once they checked them all off, well then cool, they could unlock a new level in your membership site. That would be kind of cool. What if you had them watch a few things, and at the end of watching they took a quiz to see if they actually passed the test, so to speak? What if you set something up where if they watched 5 videos, or if they had a certain weight they started their journey with, then they took some of your training for a couple of weeks, then they lost some weight, then they posted their new weight, then you could manually unlock some kind of a badge for them, and they could just start collecting badges. So as we're getting this call ramped up, in this call, we're going to talk about 2 plugins in particular to gamify your membership site, which means you add levels for people to unlock, they can accomplish things, they can click around and actually interact with the site as opposed to just watching some videos. We're going to talk about WP Notepad, which is a plugin that does a couple things. First of all, it allows your members to take some private notes. So in a way, it's like a personal journal for them. So you can have and by the way, this all relates to you having a WordPress membership site. And if you don't know what a WordPress membership site is, you can join our course at membershipcube.com. That's membershipcube.com. And what I want you to do is have a website, right? Own a .com of some sort of the web address you want, of the course you want to have. Then when someone goes and they come to your site, they see a page they can buy, they click a button, they pay money, they get in, and now they are logging in to your membership site. Now, a membership site can be a free site, it can be a site you charge one time for, it can be a monthly ongoing kind of site. Whatever it is, they are logging into a special little module you set up on your website called WordPress, okay? And now, once you install WordPress, you need to install a membership plugin in order to let the people in that have access and keep the people out that don't have access. Now, kicking people out could mean that somebody bought your monthly site and they paid you month per month for 6 months and then quit. Well, if they're no longer paying that monthly process, then they shouldn't be allowed in. And likewise, if they paid you $10 one time, well then great, they're in forever. But if they refund, well then their access should now be canceled or locked out, so they can't get back into that thing where they no longer paid you money, if that makes sense. And in our Membership Cube course, we show you all this stuff. How to get a .com, how to put what's called a sales letter, how to set up WordPress, which is free, and then how to install a plugin called Wishlist Member on top of it, which is the gatekeeper, which is the membership site, which manages all the members that you have. So I have a couple browser windows open, and we have a membership site at backupcreator.com, and this controls access to people who can use our WordPress backup plugin. So Backup Creator has 8,575 members in it. Okay, so some of those people are paying recurring, some of those aren't, but 8575. And another one of our sites at incomemachine.com has 13,047 members. And so that Income Machine's a site where we sell multiple different products. These are called levels. But the thing I want you to get from this is 8,500 members and 13,000 members. Now just think if 10% of those needed their download link, needed their product access again. That would be a full-time job just taking care of those 10% of people. What if 1% of people wanted a refund? So that would be what, 130 refunds for Income Machine, and that would be like 85 refunds for Backup Creator. Huge mess to figure out who has access to what. So whether you're selling super high ticket or super low ticket, either way, you're going to need a way to manage all those members. And in Membership Queue, we show you how to do that with WordPress and with Wishlist Member. So the first thing, the most important thing, is to get something set up, is to get some way of someone to pay you money. And so wherever you're at this time, this podcast is either for you to look at what you set up and say, okay, I've got this online, what's the next step? Or if you still haven't gotten anything set up yet, well, then let me just kind of get your imagination going, and let me have you figure out some strategy and maybe the possibilities of what you can do once your membership site is set up. And I want you to think about this, is that if your membership site is real or imagined at the moment, log into your site and imagine if you had literally just paid money for whatever course you're selling. Let's say you're selling a weight loss course and you log in. Well, when you log in with those fresh eyes, does it feel like you just paid $497, or does it feel like you just paid $7? And let me explain. If I pay $500 for your imaginary weight loss course, and I log in, and it says, here's some videos, or here's some links to click on, here's some downloads. That's kind of a crappy user experience, isn't it? I've paid hundreds of dollars, and then I was sent to literally a text document. Text document said, well, here's a list of 10 web addresses, and they were like Amazon S3 hosted files. And it said, copy and paste these into your address bar and download them. I'm thinking, you gave me a text file with some copy and paste links. You couldn't even have put that on a web page so I can click on it. So the thing about having a membership site is, well, the first aspect is that it's really easy to manage who has access and who doesn't, first of all. But then, and the other thing too, like I said, is that the most important thing is you get anything set up for now. But then once it's set up and you're looking to where to improve, the first thing you want to improve after getting set up is to avoid the big long download page. And what I mean by that is, before membership sites existed, we would have to just send people just a regular web page, right? Regular web page, hide it from Google. Someone paid us money. We sent them to a URL with some stuff on it. And it was all crammed on one page. So if we sold a product with 50 videos, we'd say, here's video 1, here's video 2, here's video 3. And it was just a huge cluttered mess. And then we said, well, let me give you the download link. So here's a download link for video 1. Download link for video 2, a download link for video 3. And then they said, well, let me give you that whole big download link. Here's like a 5 gigabyte file with all the videos. And either way, every attempt we make really sucks. And what's the answer? Well, the answer to making a membership site of yours look like somebody just paid $500 for it as opposed to $7 is, first of all, what we call the grid. So the gamification part of today's episode, the WP Notepad and WP Kunaki plugins, are going to be really helpful to improve the user experience and give them some extra bonuses and things like that. But even before that, I want you to put in your head, and we'll circle back around to it, this idea of the grid. So before even talking about the plugins for this to use, let's just think about what it is that you want. What is it that you want to build towards? What do you want your membership site to look like? And if you don't know, well, then join some other membership sites, whether they're in your niche or not, but join some other sites or log into the sites you already can log into and look at what you like about how it's set up. And the big improvement you can make right off the bat is what we call the grid. Okay. And that means that, well, if you have a course and you have 10 videos, right? Well, you could list them all on one page. That kind of sucks. What you can do instead, which is better in a membership site, is to put each video on its own separate page or sub-page in WordPress. And in our Membership Queue course, we show you this, so it makes a lot more sense. But you have 10 videos, put them all on their own separate page in your membership site. And then on the front page, the dashboard page, when someone first logs in or pays you money, they see a grid or a table with multiple columns. Let's just say you have like 3 or 4 columns and then 3 or 4 rows, right? So it's just like, it's not just like a 2 column or a 1 column thing, like there's a few columns to this. And then you link in each of those boxes or table cells to the individual page that has that video or whatever else is included in that module of the course. So just that alone is going to make your membership site look better. Because in keeping with this weight loss scenario we're talking about, somebody joins your weight loss course and they join it, and maybe as part of it you have like a 30-day, I don't know, kind of journey or something like that, and they join and they see it presented in like a calendar format or something, right? Or they can check off the days they've gone through or something like that. That's way of a better experience than just here's a pile of videos. And what's cool about this kind of setup is that, first of all, you can have a table or a grid when someone logs into your membership site where they can jump to an individual module in your course. They can jump to module 3 of your weight loss course or something. But then down below, you can have another grid of some kind of, template, checklist, bonus material, however that applies to your niche. And that applies to weight loss well, maybe you can give them a choice of like meal plans, right? So you could say, well, here's a 30-day vegan meal plan, or a 30-day like meat heavy meal plan, or a 30-day meal plan that's normal but doesn't have carbs, or whatever it is, or like an extreme 30-day meal plan, but you can just put the usual templates or checklists in that other grid. The whole point of what we're building towards is for you to create a members area that you yourself would use, whether you're a beginner or an advanced. So if you're teaching weight loss and you know weight loss, well, you're not really going to remember all those meal plans and recipes and exercise routines. So what if you yourself set up this members area so that you would come back to it and use it every day? Because I think that the goal other than making a bunch of sales and making the minimum number of refunds, is to get people to log into your site every day. And luckily this trend has kind of gone away, and the trend that's gone away is the one where marketers tell you to load up your site, get a bunch of members, and then go and hide. And hope that they won't see that they've been rebuilt, and just because you can't remind them of the thing they bought, because then they'll log in and refund. Well, here's the thing is, setting aside all the, morality, what is right stuff, because obviously you should do the right thing, but you should also do what makes the most money. The way to avoid all that kind of second guessing yourself is figure out a way to get people to log into the site every day, just to use some kind of tool. And first of all, the big breakthrough for me was in creating membership sites and download pages and products and things like that. It was a huge piece of advice when someone told me, well, if you make a members area and you put some videos in there, you do realize that you don't have to allow people to download those videos. Like, there's no law saying you have to do that. And I thought, well, that's pretty huge right there, right? So I can charge $500 or $1,000 or more and give somebody access to videos on how to make a membership site, videos on how to use WordPress, or like we're talking about today, videos on how to lose weight. And they have to log into the site to actually watch those videos. Kind of interesting. And if we make the site easy to navigate, or if we make the site a site that would be easy for you to navigate, well, then we can get them to log in every day to go and watch that day's video, or to go and grab that day's meal plan. And so instead of worrying about, well, should I be annoying to my customers and talk to them too much, talk to them too little? Well, the goal for you should be to get them to log in every day or close to it, whether they are paying you recurring or not. And the reason for that is because whether they've already paid you one time and it's paid off, or they're still paying you, the great thing about membership sites is you can add in these things called upsells. You can make it where when they log in, they have to click through from a whole other page, a whole other ad, before getting to the thing they logged in to go get. Or if you don't want to be that crazy, you can add a pop-up in your members area. We have a plugin called Action Pop-up, and you can say, pop this thing up only for people who are logged in users. You can add the banners from your other products if you have them, or link to other products in a sidebar, or link to a coaching program or something like that, just to get some extra sales. So your customers logging into your site on a regular basis is a good thing. I don't care what anyone else tells you. And instead of trying to play the game of, well, should I hide from them or not? Just get your people to log in to your site every day, your membership site every day, or at least as regularly as possible. So what I mean by this is, well, okay, weight loss is an okay example, but let's say you're in some other niche, right? Let's say that you teach hypnosis. And maybe you teach hypnosis, I don't know, like if you are selling to hypnosis teachers, or maybe even just, I've got some hypnosis stuff that'll fix your current problems, right? If you're um, if you're too nervous or you don't have confidence, buy my hypnosis course and I'll walk you through the steps. And so there's the core of it, right? There's the training part, like your little modules, but then below that grid of all the modules they can click on individually, you can have a library of some 20-30 minute hypnosis audios, an audio on getting people to go to sleep right away, or an audio to listen to as soon as you wake up, or an audio to listen to when you need focus, or an audio to listen to when you need to reduce stress. Like, what if you just had like the most common 10 or 12 issues someone's going to come up with and put it in that little grid? I mean, heck, hypnosis audio for losing weight, or for if you have the hunger cravings or whatever. And this can apply to everything, right? Because even if you sell a membership site one time or recurring about real estate, well, you can make a grid, and once again, you have a grid about, like, here's the steps to buying and selling real estate, but then below that, you could have another grid with the usual real estate forms. Here's my templates, here's my for sale signs, here's my classified ads, and just give them an easy way to just jump to just that little piece. So before even getting practical here, think about that grid, and maybe even take a piece of paper and just kind of draw out what you'd want to have if this were possible. If you could have some kind of a table or a grid where things are just arranged in such a way where you can cram a lot onto one page. And that's the beauty of the dang grid, because you can have 10 or 20 different items, whereas before you'd have to add pages and pages of scrolling videos, and now it's just you have a table or a grid and they can easily see all the different things they could click on. They click on one and it jumps to just that video. So we'll circle back around to the grid and talk about some cool plugins today, but let me get a few quickies out of the way. The first is the catchphrase of the week, and it's, when you copy the airplane for the first time, also duplicate the dents. I don't know if this is a true story or not, but I've been looking up even where this came from, and I have no idea. When I was a kid, my dad told me that after World War II, right? Because World War II, we fought the Nazis and the Japanese, and the U.S. and the U.K. and Russia, all kind of, like, and other countries, like, teamed up to take back this land or whatever, or defeat them. And afterwards, we kind of pulled out, and a lot of equipment was left behind. And that was the beginning of the Cold War, when the Russians kind of armed, like, modernized and armed up, and now began not really fighting us, but we were threats to each other. And the rumor is, and it might just be a total fake story, but the rumor is that the Soviet Union got some of the planes we left behind, and they wanted to catch up to us in terms of, like fighter planes, stuff like that. And so they made copies of these American planes they found, but then they all had like the same set of dents in one of the doors. And every single plane they copied had the same dents. And it turned out that the dents in the doors just happened from wear and tear from the original plane they copied, but they didn't want to reinvent the wheel. They said, well, there's some dents in this door, and we don't know if they're important or not, but let's just make an exact duplicate of this first before messing around with it. Because if we try to do multiple things at once, if we try to copy this plane and also make our own improvements, it's never going to get finished. It won't fly. But if we can copy this plane and learn a few things from copying it, then maybe the next iteration or generation of planes won't have the dents in the door, because we'll realize, well, those didn't need to be there. So I don't know if that story is true or not, but I want you to think about that when making your sales letters, membership sites, books, whatever. There's a proven formula, and I know that you want to be unique, and you do have to be like a little unique and have your own twist on things. But as far as the things that don't matter as much, the structure of your course or the design of your membership site, the WordPress theme you use, It doesn't matter, and that's something that you can change later. So that's why in Membership Cube and a lot of the things we do, we provide the tools and templates that we use because we want you to use them. We don't want to use the same design for inside of your membership site because who cares if the design of your membership site looks the same as my internet marketing site. It still gets the job done, and you can edit and change it and put a better theme on there later on if you feel like it, but that might not make you any more money, right? So think about that. When you copy the airplane for the first time, also duplicate the dents. Now, the question of the week is, what's the one word that you own? And if someone asks, why are you so damn special, or why is this course so damn special, could you summarize it in just one word? So we have a plugin called WP Drip, and we have a course called Membership Cube, and the first version of that course is mostly about drip content. So we could summarize the whole course in the word, or the phrase drip content, or drip. If you want drip content, get our course. If you don't want it, you don't need our course. We have a backup plugin, and I wanted to make a WordPress backup plugin for a long time, and I didn't until our mentor, David Kavanaugh, said, guys should make a backup plugin. So we made it, Backup Creator, and it's been selling for, at the time we're recording this, almost 5 years now. And at the time we're recording this, it's on almost 100,000 sites. But the reason why I didn't want to create this backup plugin, which at the moment is protecting 96,646 sites, I didn't want to make it because I thought, backup plugin, like that's a boring kind of concept, right? Like that's like being a dentist and advertising that you're going to fill in the cavities. Like a lot of people, at least I thought, only care about WordPress backups after their site's been destroyed and they don't have a backup. At that point, they'd pay any amount for a backup. Kind of like you don't care about going to the dentist, but you get a cavity, now you'd pay all kinds of money to reverse that cavity or go back in time so the cavity never happened. So funny how that is. No one wants to brush or floss until, well, now I've got a cavity. But then what dawned on me is that you could back up a WordPress site from one location, go to a new web address and restore that, and now you've cloned a WordPress site. So I thought, okay, well, great. Backup Creator, the one word that defines it is the word or the term clone. As a copywriter, that's more exciting because now we can duplicate or copy a site. And then even one of our favorite Platinum students, we have what's called a Platinum coaching program. One of our favorite students is a guy named Dr. Charles Reynolds. And I went down to his office in Mobile, Alabama. Sorry, pronounced it wrong. And I think it's in like Fairhope, so it's like close by. But he was talking to his group of doctors about us, and he said, well, these guys, Robert and Lance, they're all about the template. And I didn't realize, it dawned on me when he kept saying, like, they're the template guys, they're the system guys. And I was like, wow, out of all the things we talk about and all the things where we've helped people the most, it's by giving them the template. So the one word, at least at the moment, that describes Robert Plank and Lance Tomashiro is the term template. So think about that as we're moving forward too. And all the things we've been talking about where you have this grid, you have this library, these resources in your membership site. And you probably, and whatever you have in a course, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, a course is a thing, and I'm not going to look up the exact dictionary definition, but a course is something where you want to get someone from point A to point B, right? They don't know how to make a podcast. You join our Podcast Crusher program. By the end, you have a podcast set up. You don't have a book. Join our Make a Product course. By the end, you have a book online. So the course gets them from point A to point B. You have the core training, which shows them the steps, but then you can add in the template or multiple templates they can repeat over and over. So we have a course called Graphic Dashboard, which shows people how to create graphics using their web browser without Photoshop. And there's all kinds of banner and book and DVD templates in there, a whole grid or library where you can click and then cool, now you've got a banner ad made. We have a course called Profit Dashboard, which teaches you and shows you and gets you to join a site called Fiverr.com, that's Fiverr with 2 R's, and make money by providing quick services to others. And we have templates in there on how to make money on Fiverr by providing voiceovers, by providing videos, by proofreading, by transcribing, and by translating and running SEO software and setting up WordPress. We have different templates in there where you can just pick and choose the template that you want to grab. The quote of the week is a really short one. It's actually only 3 words. It's from Dan Blank. And this guy is a author and a blogger and a consultant. His website is wegrowmedia.com. So the quote is, no focus equals overwhelm. That's it. So I mean, think about that. And it might be too simple, but chances are if you don't have focus, then if you don't have a system or a structure or a way to say no to all the stuff that comes in, then it just piles and piles on, and then you get burned out more and more often, and then you wonder why the heck you're doing things, and you lose control. And at least for me, like, if I lose control, I lose decision making process, I go freaking crazy, and maybe you do too. So focus, at least for me, many times means shutting everything off. Means I don't check email for a couple days. I don't check the help desk for a couple days because we have someone else to check that. I don't even look at my phone too much or Facebook or Twitter because I need to focus. I need to get some completion on a handful of tasks. And then finally, the marketer of the week is Mr. Joe Lavery. And let me look up, I don't even know what his current site is right now. Okay, his current site is musthavemarketing.com. So this guy's pretty smart. He's kind of a goofball, kind of like me. So Joe Lavery is all about scarcity and about putting the pressure on people. And when I first met him, he showed me all these cool little techniques he had for just applying a little bit of pressure, a little bit of positive pressure to get these extra sales. And so, for example, he would do these things like he had some kind of a tracker on his web pages. And so you went to his little web page and it would say something like, well, we got this course and we're selling, we're selling 500 copies of this course right now, and there are 51 copies left, and there are 82 people looking on this webpage right now. So if you saw that, if you were like, man, this course is 90% of the way sold out, and there's double the amount of people looking on the webpage right now that they need, I'm like, holy crap, I got to get this right now. And one thing that I think Aweber used to do it, AWEBER.com. I'm looking on their webpage. It looks like they took it down, but they used to have a page where you can go and order their service, like buy their monthly. Oh, they do still have it. You can buy their monthly autoresponder service, the ability to build a subscriber list, send out emails, all that good stuff. So I go to this Aweber site. I go and act as if I'm about to buy, and on the sidebar, it says, "Who's joining Aweber?" And it says 90 minutes ago, Ishuwika in Samara, Russia. 13 minutes ago, Jordan in Alexandria, Virginia. 13 minutes ago, Marshall in Rochester, New York. 14 minutes ago, Robert in Canton, Georgia. So that's kind of a cool little thing to add, where if I'm hesitating or I'm just looking at this and saying like, well, who the heck is even using Aweber? Well, they're not giving away exact customer information, but they're just saying, well, check this out. People are joining Aweber for the first time all day long from all over the world, and they're all real people. So, Marketer of the Week, Joe Lavery, and what I want you to think about is, what kind of scarcity can you throw into your web pages and sales letters? And I mean, obviously, like, be truthful and things like that, but can you set up something like that where you say there's only X number of seats available, and then there's also X number of people on the waiting list, or X number of people looking at the web page right now. You're an internet marketer, you own your own business, so there's no rule, there's no law saying that you can't cap the number of accounts that someone can buy from you. And many times, I'll put out a course, and it'll be like pulling teeth. The sales will come in so slowly, but then I'll say, well, we're closing it down on Friday. Or I'll say, we're only taking 10 more sales. And then suddenly the sales roll in, and after they roll in, I close it down as promised, and people are begging me to buy. And I'm thinking, you're begging me to buy now, but you weren't begging me to buy when when there is no scarcity. So it's kind of funny how that works out, right? Like you go to some club or you go to some restaurant, and if there are no cars parked out front or no one's inside, you think this place must suck. But if there's a line out the door, if there's a waiting list to get into this restaurant or this bar or this club, you're thinking, okay, well, they must be doing something right because it's tough for me to get in. It seems really counterintuitive, like you'd make it harder for customers to buy from you, but something about scarcity, even something just as simple as listing the number of people who are watching the page, how many copies are left, you're going to be increasing the price, you're going to be shutting it down. All that stuff is usually just a little nudge everyone needs to finally sit up and pay attention and look and buy from you. So, gamification and making your membership site sticky, it's all good for me to say, you should have a table, you should have a grid, but how the heck do you actually add all these cool things? Well, like I said, membershipcube.com, we show you the whole system. And the big important part is that you set up a plugin called Wordpress, and Wordpress is a piece of software you can install on your site and have what's called an online journal. So robertplank.com is a WordPress site, is an online journal. But people discovered that this tool called WordPress that allows you to easily add, pages and navigation and do it all as if you're editing a Word document. This makes for a good little platform to host all your protected membership content. So in our Membership Cube course, we show you WordPress and we show you Wishlist Member. So Wishlist Member is the gatekeeper, which allows you to take payments and manage all of your different members. So with the WordPress and Wishlist Member, you can have someone buy from you, then they have access. If they refund, they're kicked out, all that good stuff. So that's a great start. But with WordPress, you can install a number of free and paid plugins that do some pretty cool stuff. I'm going to talk about 3 in today's episode. The first one is called WP Notepad. This is our plugin that allows you to give your members a private note-taking area, but it also gives your members the ability to fill in the blank the forms or templates you put on your site, and it also lets you have checklists in your site, an unlimited number of checklists. So if you had your little weight loss course and one module was about eating better and one module was about exercising better, you could have people do some kind of a checklist, like maybe one checklist is to throw out the junk food. Another item in the checklist is to throw out soda. Another item in the checklist is to buy some kind of like 2 or 3 kind of fruits, 2 or 3 kind of vegetables, some stuff with fiber. You can have a whole checklist where it's one thing for them to view the training you've provided for them, but yet another for them to actually just check some boxes and actually see some progress. So WP Notepad installs into any WordPress members area, but we recommend you use Wishlist Member in our Membership Cube course. That's the first one I'm going to talk to you about today. The second one is WP Kunaki. That's WPKUNAKI. And this is also included in Membership Cube, but you can buy it separately at wpkunaki.com. This is an address collector, and it also provides a directory of your members. So let me just talk about the first thing. Address collector means that somebody pays you money, joins your course, then when they log in, a pop-up appears saying, can you confirm your address for us? And we say, we think this is your address from when you paid us and the shopping cart passed this, but can you just verify this address? So they can either say, yes, this is good, or correct it. And now what you can do once you have their physical mailing address, and it collects their phone number too, you can call them on the phone, send them a postcard, send them a book in the mail, send them a DVD every month as long as they're in. So this collects their address. And then finally, as we wrap up today's call, we're going to be talking about TablePress, which is the plugin that we use to make the grid, the dashboard, the table, that little thing that makes the members area look like it's $500 and not $5. So backing up a little bit, install WordPress. install Wishlist Member. Have a button. That's the most important thing. Have a button where someone can buy and get access to your course. Even if it's ugly for now, an ugly course is just one step away from being a good course, right? That's just something where you have to get it set up first, then go back and make little improvements to make it better. So an easy improvement is to install our WP Notepad plugin. Just out of the box, without doing anything else, this will add a little text area box, a text box, where people can type in whatever the heck they want. And it looks almost like a comment form, but no one else sees their comments. And you can actually spy on their comments as well, and they can see all their comments all in one place, all that kind of cool stuff. And so we install these on most of our membership sites. Why? Well, you know how earlier I said that you can have a grid and have your 10 videos, and each video someone can click on that piece of the grid and jump to a page with just that video? Well, now you have the video, and then you can add this notepad taking area below it. So now it kind of makes sense why we split up our site and separated out these videos, because now they can click on just this one video and type up their notes right in there. And you might think that, well, no one's going to use that. They're going to type it in a separate Word document or type it on or write on a piece of paper. Well, you'd be surprised at how many people like to put the words right on there, because they might be watching on their computer or their phone or their tablet, or they go to a different computer, use a laptop, use the office computer, use the home computer. So it's kind of a cool little thing where now you can get to your notes from anywhere that you're at. And we've noticed that people, I would say the majority of the note taking is where they'll write down or type out a time code, and then they'll type out what they found interesting. So they might type in, 20 minutes and 30 seconds in is where we showed how to set up WordPress or something like that. And we've just noticed that people kind of outline for their own purposes later the interesting parts where we're going to go and jump to. And we even noticed that sometimes people will put it in the note-taking area, 45 minutes is where I stop. So they'll kind of go in, they'll start watching a video, they won't have time to finish it, and they'll write in their note-taking area under the video, I watched 45 minutes of this. So that when they come back, they can finish that video. So lots of cool stuff, and we can also look at where people get stuck. Now, why is that? Well, because if we see that there's a bunch of notes taken on Module 1, Module 2, but nothing on Module 3, we say, well, maybe there's a problem here. Maybe, for whatever reason, they can't get past a certain part in our training. But just for the ability for them to take their own private notes and for you to kind of peek and spy on what they've done, that alone is huge. So that's the first thing, is that they can take their own notes. And then you can add in let's just call it a completed button or checkbox. So you can put next to each of these little note-taking areas a checkbox, and they can mark off that they've completed that module. So that works for them to track their own progress, also works for you because you can see how many of your members get to module 4, 5, 6, 7. And then WP Notepad allows you to have fill in the blank forms. And that means that you can give them a template. For example, in real estate, I guess you can give them a form for a lease agreement, a form for an eviction notice, things like that. And you can give them the exact form, but then have an area where they can fill in their own name, fill in the names of the legal parties that are renting a property from you, stuff like that. And it's all web-based. You go to this template, and the parts that can be changed are highlighted. You click on the highlighted parts, change the name, and then print it out. You come back to the form later on, and it's still set to the very last way you customized it. So, it's kind of cool. And we've used it for a number of different purposes. We used it for a domain name finder. So we said, put in your keyword, it spits out a bunch of possible .com domain names someone could register. We have an article idea generator, so they type in the name of their niche or their website, and we list 100 different ideas for someone to put out articles. We have a page in our Make a Product membership site where we say, well, here's the template we use to outsource a transcriptionist. You speak out a book and then you hand it to someone to type the contents up, and we say, well, here is the letter or the template we use to hire someone for that. So with this one plugin called WP Notepad, you can give people a private ability to take notes, give them a way to check off the different modules or tasks they've completed. You can give them fill in the blank forms, and then even just add in whatever kind of arbitrary checkboxes you want. So you could say, you have a module in your weight loss course, and it's all about getting the food situation right, all about throwing out the bad food, buying the good food. So you have that video in there, right? And you can also get that video transcribed, get the audio from the video transcribed, and then you can sandwich in still screenshots from the video in that transcript. So now you have the video, you have the PDF transcript, put it right there under the video. You can have links to whatever kind of resources that you mentioned in the video. You could have that note-taking area from WP Notepad, and then you can go and add in a checklist. So you can say, in this module, there are basically 10 steps you need to take. So underneath all that stuff, you can have them literally check the boxes, and that way they can mark off their own progress. And once again, because this is in a members area, they just check the boxes and they can come back a year later and see the boxes that they did or they didn't check. And you, as the person running the site, can also see the boxes they did or didn't check. And then you can do whatever you want with that. You can say, well, nice, they made it halfway through the course. Let me send them a postcard congratulating them, or call them on the phone, or email them, or add them on Facebook or something. WP Notepad is a cool way to allow people to personalize their experience and their note-taking on your site. Next, WP Kunaki is the address collector, so you have a better way of getting in touch and staying in touch with these people that have used your site. Just collecting an address alone is huge, and it's probably something that you don't do. And I know this because I've bought all kinds of stuff, and I'll get emails all day long from marketers, but I'll very rarely get something in the mail. And if it is, it's usually somebody that I haven't even bought from, like someone's just spamming me. So what if you stood out from the crowd by sending a little something extra to your customers that wasn't spammy, especially because they actually bought from you? WP Kunaki, you set it up, and someone logs into your site, and it pops up and collects their address. It has already filled in the best guess address that was passed along from the shopping cart. They can correct it, and there's even an option to validate that address with a validation service to make sure that it's a real address in the mail that you can mail things to. So then someone fills that information out on the pop-up, and then you get a message, you get an email message, and also you can pull up a special list of people who have confirmed their address with you. So you get that coming in, and if they provided you with a phone number in that address, pick up the phone, call them up. If not, then you can use a tool called doubleagentcards.com and send somebody a thank you message or brownies in the mail, or even handwrite a postcard or something, which I do a bunch of those every single day. So you can collect the address and then use that, or even dump it in somewhere else that you want. So I've used this plugin to send out DVDs. We use a service called Kunaki, that's Kunaki.com, to create sets of DVDs. And what we can do, especially for a high ticket course, to better justify the $500 or the $1,000 expense on that course, we can take all the videos that we recorded as part of the course, and I use a tool called Camtasia Studio to dump out high quality MP4 videos, they're called. And then I use a $39 tool called Sony DVD Architect to then take those videos and then get them in DVD format, burn them onto discs. Then Kunaki allows me to read the discs back in, upload them to their little center, and they will press the discs, put whatever artwork you want to have on there, put them in cases, mail them out. It's all cheaper than if you did it yourself too. So because Kunaki service, you can collect the mailing addresses of your members, and you can do things like, well, only pull out the addresses that they have actually confirmed. That way I know where I'm actually sending it. You can do things like only pull the addresses of people who are current members in good standing. I can pull the addresses of members who are in good standing who joined this month. So I can send a welcome DVD to people, or just an update DVD to all the current members. So whatever it is, you can pull out the exact sub list of your members and then send something physical in the mail to them. Now the secret sauce, the really cool feature of this WP Kunaki plugin, is that you can provide a directory of your members. And there are a bunch of different possibilities here, because with WP Kunaki you can collect someone's mailing address, phone number, website, all kinds of cool stuff like that. And then you can say, well, I'm going to make a private directory so that all my members can talk to each other, or they can connect with each other, right? So you might have a course on internet marketing, and you want to give people the ability to joint venture or connect with each other. So that's why you have that members directory. Or you could even have a public directory, and you can say that I'm going to sell a course on hypnosis. Selling a course on hypnosis, I teach them all these things, and if they pass all the tests, or if they can show me that they know how to do this, I'm going to add them to the list of certified members. So now I have my own certified hypnotist. So you can have, I don't want to get too technical, but in Wishlist Member and our Member Genius plugin, you have members, right? These are people who have paid you money, joined your site. Now a member can belong to multiple levels. So we can have a level called full, that's Full, and if they're a full member, they get access to the full course, right? We can add a level called certified and add only a couple of our favorite people to that level. So you might have, 100 members, and then maybe 20 of those members are certified. Maybe they even paid you more money to get certified, who knows? So you have 20 members on the certified level. Well, you can make, using our WP Kunaki plugin, a public directory only of the members that are on that certified level. And you can choose to put their whole mailing address, like if they're all professionals, they all have an office. You can put the phone number on there. You can show just the URL. But whatever it is, you can have a publicly outward-facing directory of the certified members. And circling back to our platinum student, Dr. Charles, this is where he makes a heck of a lot of his passive income, is that people pay him, other doctors pay him $97 per month for training and the ability to use a trademark or a few trademarks of his. But the big draw is that then they are listed on his site, on his high traffic site, where people are looking to get a certain procedure done. Well, then they'll find these doctors, and they can click a button and find the closest doctor to them, or a doctor in their city or a doctor in their state, and get all the information right there from that directory. So you're starting to realize that there are all these cool possibilities opening up for you that are a lot better than just dumping a few videos on somebody. You can actually you can do all kinds of cool things, and a lot of things that we didn't really get into too much because I honestly don't have plugins to do these, is that there is a plugin, I think it's called Wishlist Quiz, where you can have a multiple choice quiz after people get through the different modules of your course, and if they pass, it unlocks new levels for them. I think the plugin is called Wishlist Badges, but you can also have points or badges if somebody logs into the site 5 times. If somebody passes a certain test, if someone clicks on a certain link, you can give them different badges. And I mean, maybe you've used sites. One site that comes to mind is a site called Audible. So there's a company from Amazon.com that sells audiobooks. And I'm trying to find on the app, maybe it's on the web. So I'm looking on the app, and I've got badges from this audiobook player. Daily Dipper, Mount Everest, Night Owl, 7 Day Stretch. So there's all these different things where, like, if I listen to audiobooks even a little bit for 7 days straight, I get a badge for that. If I've listened to a book for more than 2 hours straight, I get the marathoner badge for that. So if I've even finished one book, that's called the closer. I get a badge for that. So that's a little more on the silly side, the quiz and the badges. And I think the best bang for your buck is to install WP Notepad so people have their private note taking area, checklist, fill in the blank forms, and then WP Kunaki so you can at least collect their addresses and possibly have a public or private directory. And then, just to end things on an easy note with you, let me explain how to make the grid, the dashboard, the table. This part is a free plugin, and we do show you how to use this in Membership Cube. This is a free plugin called TablePress. It's TablePress.org, or you just install it from within your WordPress members area. So TablePress allows you to create these grids or tables. They can be as many columns or rows as you want, and you can, rearrange later. So you rearrange and customize the grid, and you basically link to other areas of your membership site inside of this table. Okay, so if you have 10, 20 videos or a bunch of different templates, you put them on their own pages, and then you make a table in TablePress, figure out what fits where to have how many tables and rows and columns, and then you link to these different pages in your site. And then you go to the front page or your dashboard page or whatever page someone logs into after paying you money, and you just plop this table onto that front page. And I know that it's kind of hard to imagine if you haven't seen this kind of thing before, but basically you click around. You click around, and once you create your table, you just say, I'm going to link to this in the top left, link to this in the top, the middle top, link to this on the top right. And then once you have the table kind of arranged the way you want it, then you can just place it on your web page. And it's one of those things where you can always go back and edit the table later. So if you look at it and decide, well, I want to make the table have one more column or have one more row, or I want to take things out of the table or split it up into two tables, whatever, just having that table, grid, dashboard in your membership site, just that alone is gonna make the perceived value go through the roof, make the buyer's remorse go way down, make it actually look like someone's joining a kind of classy establishment, for lack of a better term. That way someone will join your site and they won't just see a list of videos, a list of things to download. They'll see this dashboard, this grid, and once you master having the grid for your training modules, then you can create that grid where you have the grid of your templates, all your real estate forms, all of your graphic templates, all of your Fiverr gigs to copy, your meal plans, your hypnosis sequences, so you can just jump to the one you want. But there definitely is something to getting the site set up as fast as possible with membershipcube.com, which shows you WordPress and Wishlist Member. And once you have that set up, once there is a way for me to actually pay you money, then you can go and add some of these cool things. Don't let it hold up your launch. Don't let it hold up finishing your product, but you can go back and install WP Notepad. That way that the whole experience that they're going through now has changed. They have note-taking areas, checkbox for each module, fill in the blank forms, and checklists. You can install WP Kunaki to ask for their address. That way you can send them an extra little bonus or put them in a directory or something like that. And then use TablePress to create the dashboard or grid to make navigating the site a breeze, even if you've crammed or piled in lots of stuff after your initial launch. So I'm Robert Plank, and we talked about gamification in your membership site. Join us at membershipcube.com, because in that we show you everything we talked about today. We show you how to set up WordPress, your domain name, sales letter, Wishlist Member, WP Notepad, WP Kunaki, and TablePress, and more. And those are the things that are going to make you stand out, that'll allow you to charge more, that'll allow you to have less refunds, and will get your members logging in on a regular basis. That way they remember you exist and they'll buy more and more from you. All because you knew what tools to install, and you made your membership site not just a fun place to be, but also a tool that you yourself, regardless of your own skill, beginner or advanced, would use and do use on a daily or a weekly basis. Even if you're a master at being a nutritionist and exercise, it's still a site that you personally log into to keep track of or find your best recipes and meal plans, for example. Make your membership site sticky. Install WP Notepad and WP Kunaki and use it on Wishlist, and make a site that no one else has. Make a site that delivers a user experience that gets people to log in and buy and be glad they bought and buy from you again and again. So join us at membershipcube.com to find out about all that and more. I'm Robert Plank from membershipcube.com. Have a great day and thank you.